Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deerigan. Alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, what's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey.
How's it going?
It's going. Like Tuesday is Tuesdaying. Let's just put it that way.
I have to tell you something before I introduce everybody else here.
Sure.
A lot of pictures of Blade floating around right now.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have told me that you kind of look like Blade.
Me?
And you would look cool if you dressed up like Blade.
No way.
That's what I've been hearing.
Well, number one, like, have you guys seen Wesley Snipes lately? Like, he still looks like Blade, but at the same time, like, his face has gotten very angular and stuff now. You know, it's like,
well, that's
it's like
he's Wesley Snipes. It's not old. That's not working out. He just, you know.
Yeah, I don't know if I can pull Blade off. I'll look into it. Maybe it'd be a cosplay one night for the cast.
Maybe for Halloween we all cosplay. Be awesome. Look, everybody's trying to ice skate uphill. Okay.
We'll have a team meeting.
Speaking of ice skating uphill, also here, PK Power Pack Klein.
Hello. So, if we were to cosplay, who are we all going to be? I mean, I think I should be Blade because clearly I have the head style that Blade has.
Yes, that's what you have. That you know. Are you? I don't even know where to go. Oh man, I don't even know what to do now. I'm just gonna glide over that and introduce our guest. They are one of the coolest people I've met. We met at PAX. They were on Nintendo Power Block a couple weeks ago, but they're here now. Matt Storm is here.
Hello.
Hi, Matt. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. It's been fun watching y'all grow and checking out all your stuff, and now to get to be on the Boss Rush podcast, it's dope.
The Boss Rush Podcast. That's what it is. You have to have the in front of us, like the Ohio State University, which is the thing that I hate the most living in Ohio. So, So Matt, you're pretty important here on this internet. Why don't you tell people who you are, what you do, kind of your thing?
Sure. Using the word important on the internet is so loaded, but I appreciate the compliment nonetheless, because I'm just an indie podcaster doing way too much. So my name is Matt. I also go by Stormageddon sometimes. I am a indie podcaster. I've been podcasting for over 12 years. I started with a music podcast that's now on indefinite hiatus. It's a nice way of saying it is dead. Done some other podcasts along the way too, some that ended this year. But I am currently one of the hosts of the Fun and Games podcast, along with Jeff Moonen, and one of the hosts of the Reignite Podcast, along with my incredible co-host, Frankie Bradley Lestrange. Fun and Games is a general topic-based podcast. We cover different genres, retrospectives on game consoles, interviewing developers, musicians, composers, all sorts of random stuff. We have a show within the subfeed called SideQuests, which is within the same feed, but it's on the off days that Fun and Games doesn't air as well as every Monday, and it's a short form episode where a different host every episode talks about a game they love and why they love it. Corey, you did one recently as of a recording, which I'm very grateful for. And to curtail it briefly, Reignite is a podcast about seeing ourselves in the video games we play. Started as a Mass Effect retrospective podcast where me and my co-host created our version of Shepard and then discussed the choices we made as if we were Shepard. So like making choices as we would in the moment. And then more importantly, of course, with which aliens we made out with, which was really the thrust of it. Pun intended. And then once we finished the trilogy, we did Andromeda, which I had never played, and I was sherpered through by my co-host, which I ended up quite enjoying. And then once we finished that, the logical step was to move on to Dragon Age. So last season was season 5 with Dragon Age Origins, and now currently we're doing Dragon Age 2. And for the first time in the history of the show, are current with current game releases, as there is an active, almost done in development Dragon Age game coming out this year that we get to talk about, which is a lot of fun. And so we've talked about the Veilguard a little bit as well on the show, and yeah, it's a good time. So yeah, that's what I also DJ and edit and blah 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 blah. There's a million other things. I won't keep us going through all that nonsense.
You could. That's what we're here for.
Okay, so tell us which alien would you bang, and do you like the change from Dreadwolf to Veilguard?
So if we're talking aliens from Mass Effect, if the game did what it was supposed to and allowed me to romance Thane as male Shep, that's the true romance. But of course they don't, and they're criminals. They should. But otherwise, my canon romance with my canon character is Fem Shep. That's who I played first and who I played often. And my canon romance is Liara with her.
Yes.
Through all the games, though I have also romanced Thane as her because you can't as Mel Shep, who is also my other canon romance. And then as far as Dreadwolf and the Veilguard is the dumbest name for a video game ever. Like Dreadwolf at least gave us a sense of solace and that he's a big part of the game, which if you've played Trespasser, you know he's kind of the focal point of this game. The Veilguard is nothing. It's nothing words. They don't mean anything, and I hate it.
the word "the" also ruins it in there.
Yes, correct.
No, if it was just Veilguard, it would be like 100 times better. But also, they already named it and then they renamed it.
Yeah,
I have theories why they changed the name, and I don't think he's going to be kind of the focal point of the story. I think he's going to get the story started, but I think it's going to be a completely different antagonist.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. There's also rumors that he'll be in your party again, which would be interesting considering how it starts from that footage we saw. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to get a new BioWare game that is an Anthem. I love the Dragon Age series, flaws and all. I think that they're fun games. I love the romances and the characters, and I'm just excited to get another one of those. Whether it's really good or not remains to be seen, but based on the combat they've shown so far, I like it. It looks like more Inquisition style action, and so I'm in at this point. But again, the overjoy of just getting another BioWare RPG kind of supersedes any logic at this point.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. I'm just excited to get something from BioWare now that hopefully doesn't suck.
Yeah,
I hope Dragon Age is good enough that BioWare stays open to make Mass Effect.
Yeah, I mean, if this game fails, there's no Mass Effect coming. I know they announced.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. Or Mass Effect will be the final thing from them.
I don't even care about Dragon Age, but I will buy Dragon Age if it means Mass Effect.
I mean, you should just buy it for a friend of yours, right? If you want to make sure that buy it as a gift for somebody who maybe was on the fence about buying it. I don't know, but yeah,
I was just gonna say I have a genuine interest in this new game, so I'm probably gonna pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, like there was at one point the reason I got into Dragon's Dogma and I bought it on Switch is because the game director said that if enough copies of the Switch version sell, they'll put Devil May Cry on Switch, which they haven't put the new Devil May Cry on Switch yet. But I bought it just for that, and then ended up loving it anyway. So it's not a bad strategy.
I've heard that kind of promise before.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, Matt, we're glad you're here. To be fair, I wish it was under better circumstances, though. I know on the pre-show everybody kind of talked about it already, but the Game Informer stuff. So I know you edited the Game Informer show, which is was a weekly listen for me. So
yeah,
good job editing that.
Thanks. Yeah, it's sad. It's heartbreaking, but can't do anything about it, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a bummer. It's one of the longest running gaming magazines, one of the only gaming magazines left, and now it's done. They were halfway through the new issue on the casting of Frank Stone, and now that will probably just disappear. I don't think we'll ever see it.
Yeah. It's sad. I hope everybody lands on their feet. I've met quite a few of them over the years. Always been really nice and friendly, and grateful for them being nice and everything. So also still a current subscriber to the magazine. So I don't know how that's gonna work. I know you have to go to GameStop's website, but I don't feel like dealing with them. So
yeah, me neither. They can keep a couple bucks.
Yeah. So
Just make sure you cancel the auto renew.
Right.
Yeah, I already did. I still have my first issue of Game Informer.
Wow.
Banjo-Kazooie on the cover, June 1998.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I don't have every issue I ever had, but I do have quite a few. I have all the Destiny covers. I kept the God of War 3 cover, I think. It was God of War 3, where he's climbing the Cyclops. There's a really cool Gears cover. There's a really cool Fable cover at one point. The Zelda cover, the Breath of the Wild cover, obviously was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, even the recent Valgard cover was gorgeous. Like the cover art is just impeccable. Their artists were some of the best in the business.
Yeah, definitely. One of the highlights of the magazine was looking at the cover and seeing which game was on the cover and what the art looked like. And Game Informer, never forget.
I still have the God of War. What is it? 2018. I still have that issue, and I also have the Days Gone issue, and I know I have another issue somewhere, but I can't remember what's on the cover of that. I have the Days Gone issue, and I didn't even pick it up because Days Gone was on the cover. It was because there was something else like showcased in the magazine, and so I was like, oh, I want to keep this one. Sorry to any Days Gone fans I actually offended by just saying that just now.
I mean, you definitely offended the creator, who will go on a Twitter tirade for almost anything at this point.
Yes. Oh man. God. Talk about majorly butthurt,
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get it up to a point, but it's been how long at this point? And
it's been years.
Isn't he working on a new game that's supposed to come out soon-ish?
In theory.
Yeah. So I don't know. Relax.
Days Gone too soon.
Yikes.
Wow. All right.
Oh, geez. Okay. Before we fall down that rabbit hole, this is the Boss Rush Podcast. If this is your first episode, welcome. We're here. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. You can support this show and our family of podcasts, as well as our website and all the other things we do. Subscribing at a tier on Patreon will grant you perks like the exclusive pre-show to this show, expansion pass, the pre-show to After Dark, 2 weeks early After Dark, and more. 1 month early to Book Club, which is going on now. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is the Patreon book club right now, which will be free in a couple weeks or a month, I guess. You get exclusive rights to the Spotlight Podcast question thread, all that stuff. But if you can't support us financially, no big deal. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star rating on them podcast services, and tell your friends. You can find all of our content, including banters, features, listicles, reviews, and more, which we'll be discussing on this here podcast on bossrush.net. Also, 3 of the 4 of us are going to PAX West. Right, Matt? You're going to PAX West?
I am.
Yeah. LeRon, you are not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing it out. Thank you.
You will be missed.
LeRon, is there anything from the Capcom booth you want us to pick up?
Anything Monster Hunter related. Anything.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah. Especially I think what? Have I played what?
I said if there's a demo, we'll play it for you, okay?
Oh, I was about to say, wait, are you telling me there's a demo for Wilds out right now? Because I'm about to get off the podcast.
No. But if they have one at PAX, but who knows? They have a booth, so obviously they got to be featuring that game.
Yeah.
Oh, they could be doing Street Fighter or DLC.
Well, I think the next presence they said they're going to have for Monster Hunter Wilds was going to be at Gamescom.
Well, there we go. That's like 2 weeks before PAX. So
yeah. I'm so far behind on all the news stuff, and I don't even know what's being shown at PAX. I just started making my appointments today.
The exhibition hall's got some bangers in there.
I'm yeah. Anyways, bossrush.net, all the things. I don't know where I'm at. Cool stuff time. Matt, do you have anything cool coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always doing way too much. As of when we're recording, I just guested on the Retro Hangover podcast, which is a great bunch of folks. They do retro game reviews, usually bring on a guest, and I join them to talk about Chrono Trigger, my favorite game of all time. I practically bullied my way onto the podcast. I threatened the hosts to bring me on, and they buckled. So I was fun. Yeah, I mean, it does, right? So it was really fun to talk about Chrono Trigger. I played that game more times than I can count. It was a really great ep. So you should go check that out. Also, by the time folks are hearing this, also in the same week, you'll be able to hear the latest fun and games. We just recorded it today. It's on the topic of, do important games need to be good? Can games leave a mark on history and even teach us important lessons, even if they're terrible? And we discuss a variety of games that are famous flops and the kinds of things that the game industry really learned from them. It was a really great conversation. It was just me and Jeff, and you can check that out. And then, Reignite, we're covering Dragon Age 2. We just did an episode on Isabella and why she's hot. I mean, why she's important to the story. And we're going to continue along with a bunch of the other companion acquisitions until we head into the deep road. So, yeah, that's the gist. And then I'm always doing a million other things. If you just go to my Twitter, you'll find all the other stuff.
Nice. Yeah, Retro Hangover podcast. Good people.
Yeah.
Good people. Pat, you got cool stuff?
We got the Paper Mario Book Club that's going on right now, and that's with our good friend Celeste, and also one of my personal buddies, Taylor. So check it out. They're both really cool peeps.
Yep. You can listen to it now for $1.
Mm-hmm.
But that will also be free on August 31st, I think is the Saturday. So check that out. Stray is free for everybody right now. So
yep, and that's got Lala. She's also really cool.
Yep. Lala from Toge is on there, and then we will also.
That was her very first English podcast, by the way.
Yeah, you couldn't tell.
No, you could not.
We're doing Ocarina of Time this month, so
and we already got a good guest lined up for that one.
Very, very exciting because I've only played through that game one time.
Wow.
So making my way through it again is interesting. I
literally have that game memorized.
Good for you, Pat.
The exact paths you need to take.
The one person that's not on the book club has it memorized. Good job, Pat.
You're welcome.
LeRon, you got cool stuff?
No, just stay tuned after dark because we have a brand new co-host joining the team. So just be on top of that.
I know.
Yeah, I know you. I know you know. But
I'm very excited.
Shush you. Shush. No spoilers. We want surprises. We want surprise. Yep. Yeah. So that's the major thing. And I don't know. I'm actually back in the lab, actually trying to get some new content to put on one of my 2 YouTube channels. I'm not sure where it's going or whatnot and stuff like that, but it's new for me. No, it's not the Crossroads podcast. Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm actually working on getting like a new crew ready for to bring back Crossroads Mark II. I think that's what I'm gonna call it.
Mark II.
Mark II.
Are you gonna paint it?
Actually, this would be Mark III because like when after we hit episode 50, like that's when the show did a serious like redesign with content and everything. So it'll be the same show, but it'll have a new feel.
Nice. Excited for that. I'm excited about what we've been talking about, LeRon, a little bit. That you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh!
I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything, so I'm just like nodding.
Say something when there's something to say. I'm just teasing.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
You know how you like to tease, LeRon.
I didn't want Corey to send like an ICBM, directly to my apartment because I said something that I shouldn't have said.
Anyways, like Matt mentioned, you can find me on a recent episode of Fun and Games Side Quest. Talked about Hellblade 2. Very, very fun. Thank you for allowing me to do that, Matt. It was very exciting.
Happy to have anyone talk about a game they love.
Also, with this Bungie fiasco stuff going on, the Last Word Destiny podcast is going to be very interesting in the next couple weeks. So catch me on there soon-ish. Soon. Yes, soon.
Is it going to be the last word?
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to get into the whole Bungie Destiny thing. But I've talked about it 3 times in the last 6 days on podcasts. I just hurts. It hurts. You know what doesn't hurt? Games that we've been playing. Matt, you're our esteemed guest. I want to hear what you've been playing.
Sure. I've been playing too many things. The quick ones are I'm still making my way through Baldur's Gate 3 a year later. I'm playing with 2 very close friends of mine, Scott White and Matthew Finneman, who are also content creators and make cool stuff. And they both have small children. So we're supposed to play every Monday. We kind of play most Mondays. But we're finally in the Underdark. So we're almost done with Act 1. So probably going to be another year before we finish this game. But it's been fun. I've started romancing Lizelle, and she's amazing. She kicks my ass, and I'm happy for it. I've also been playing. So I got a review code, thanks to Pop Agenda, for Thank Goodness You're Here, which is a 2.5 to 3 hour comedy video game. It's kind of an adventure game where you're in this little British hamlet and you're kind of running around, punching people, seeing what they need, and like helping them with weird tasks. It's very trippy and very British humory. I really dug it. If you like Goose Game and the kind of like humor and puzzle solving in the Goose Game, in Untitled Goose Game, it's a similar vibe.
What kind of rating does that one have? Like, is the humor more adultish, or is it kind of like mixed?
I'd say it's more adultish. I mean, it's cartoon. It's basically a cartoon, so I feel like it would go over the heads of young kids. But I'd say PG, probably not PG-13. I'd say PG. I wouldn't give it to a little kid, but like I think a young kid or a teenager would enjoy it quite a bit. Most of it is just really weird, which I think is always fun. What else have I been playing? I started Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder. I also got a code for that one, which I'm really grateful for. But I put the brakes on it because I had a bunch of other stuff that was time sensitive to play. But I like what I played so far. It's a Metroidvania, pixel art, steampunk. The voice acting is very good. The writing is very good. I'm really enjoying it so far. And then the big ones that I've been playing. So I was in the Marvel Rivals closed beta. It just ended as of when we're recording a few days ago. I really enjoyed my time with it. If you're an Overwatch fan, it's like, what if Overwatch had a Marvel skin? None of the heroes and villains are exact replicas of heroes from Overwatch, but like they all take like certain familiar abilities. Like Magneto is sort of he has a shield, he can protect himself, he can throw stuff, so he's very Sigma light but not exactly identical. I end up really vibing with the tanks because I like tanky characters, so I played as Venom, I played as Doctor Strange, I played as the Hulk. The Hulk is what I call a flesh mech. He's a reverse diva. He starts as Bruce Banner and then you Hulk out and become the Hulk. Nice. And it's interesting. There are only 2 stages in the closed beta. It's 6-on-6. There were like 20 something heroes, I think, that were available in the closed beta. I mean, it feels pretty finished. It was unoptimized to shit on PC and like load times were a nightmare. But other than that, it played really well. It looks really pretty. On the support side, I played Loki a lot. You can make clones of yourself, and then the clones will either attack the people you attack or all heal the person you're healing, and you shoot to attack or heal. It's the same attack. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm curious to see when it'll actually come out as a final version. I'm hoping it has a price tag and it's not free to play. I'd much rather pay $50 up front to get the like free currency in the game to buy skins and then just move on. I don't want it to be free to play with like a $20 battle pass that's impossible to finish. It's just not what I want out of a game like this. But it was a lot of fun. If you like Overwatch, there's a lot to love in this game, especially because it feels like it's not overpromising like Overwatch did so far, at least. What else did I play? I played Clickholding, the strange scaffold 45-minute game where a guy in a chair tells you to click a population tracker, like one of those things that count up a counter. I was playing it for a charity stream over the weekend. Alyssa Mercante from Kotaku was doing a fundraiser for Trans Lifeline. We ended up raising over $22,000, which was incredible. And I edged our entire audience because the game famously ends after you hit 10,000 clicks. So when the end is coming. And at about 8,000 to almost 9,000 clicks, the game has a bug where the menu will come up and your cursor disappears. And so it's hard to get out of the menu. And I accidentally ended the play session and lost my progress.
Oh, no.
Live on stream.
Oh, no.
And it's about the funniest thing that's ever happened. I had a bunch of folks in the voice chat with me. We all lost our minds. It was very funny. The game is great. It's a really cool experience. It's creepy. It's not scary, but it's just like unnerving. I'll have to go back and actually finish it. But yeah, I edged an entire stream audience by accident.
Oh my God.
It was pretty funny.
As soon as you said you edged, I was like, "Oh man, you did something dirty."
I mean, basically, we didn't get to finish the game.
Yeah,
gamers are a compulsive bunch. If you don't finish that counter,
after
that time.
And so that was ridiculous, but it was for a good cause. And so I'll go back and finish it. But I loved what I played. Xavier Nelson Jr. is doing ridiculous shit with Strange Scaffold, and I'm an instant fan of his work. And then finally, I've been playing Plague Tale Innocence, the first game. I'm guesting on a podcast upcoming for the Play Along podcast. They do something called Get Wrecked, where one of the hosts and a guest swap game recommendations and then come together to talk about it. I recommended Solar Ash, which was an incredible game, and they recommended to me a Plague Tale Innocence because it's been on my backlog for ages. And so I think I'm in chapter 12 as of today, and I really like the game. I think it's actually quite excellent. However, the opening scene of that game, as a pet owner, was so brutal that I almost turned the game off and refused to play it. Yeah. It was rough. Like content warning for animal abuse. Like I can handle it in some movies, but ever since I also got a dog within the last couple of years, it's gotten harder. Like the scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 were rough with Rocket. Like just anything like that as a pet owner, it's really hard. And this was brutal because the graphics are also so good that like it looks realistic. But getting through that opening 10 minutes and then playing the actual game, I really love it. I usually hate stealth games, but beyond the Batman games, which are near perfect. I'm not a fan of stealth games, but I really like what a Plague Tale Innocence does. I didn't expect there to be as much combat as there is. Just using the sling, I think it's clever in how it does it. I didn't think I would want to play Requiem, but now that I'm most of the way through this game, I definitely will probably check out Requiem. And I'm very impressed with the voice acting, especially since everyone is speaking with French accents. I should have seen if there was a way to make it just in native language, because I feel like that would have enhanced the experience in the same way that I play the Yakuza games in Japanese. But that said, the voice acting and the script is incredible. There are nice moments of levity. The cast is really good, and like especially Hugo, the voice actor playing the young boy, just does such a good job of switching between pain and like unbridled joy like a small child does. So yeah, that's the big one I've been playing. I'm hoping to finish it in the next couple of days, but I really love what I've played of it so far. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I love Plague Tale Innocence. I stopped playing around chapter 12 because I forget why I stopped playing. Oh, I think probably some Destiny season started while I was playing in the middle of it, but it's a game that I would really love to get back to. And now that, you've been talking about it, I think I'm going to go back to it because I'm kind of in between games a little bit right now.
As someone who's played both of them, they are both, they have a very good story to tell. Like,
yeah. After
playing through 1, I didn't think number 2 would be able to hit me as emotionally as 1 did, but 2 still has some very good moments to it. So, and like 100 times more rats.
Yeah, oh my god, that alone, like, I love when games have cool in-engine stuff. Like the rats obviously don't make logical sense, and they do stuff like rat tornadoes, which I just got to, which are ridiculous. But like, it's impressive, especially since this isn't a AAA team. This is basically an indie game. And to look this good and sound this good is impressive. Not that indie games can't, but typically they don't do... This has a AAA vibe that or I'll say more specifically a Sony AAA vibe. like that kind of artsy, very high polish, and I'm just very impressed with it. It's not perfect, but I'm very impressed with it for sure.
Yeah, when the quote unquote next gen updates happened for this game, it really changed a lot of the way the game felt and looked and ran, honestly, too, and it just did wonders, and it's incredible. So
you know what, I was trying to remember, because the actor and actress that play Amicia and Hugo were just recently both in the same game, or were both in another game. I was like, which one was it? They were both in Final Fantasy 16 as well.
Oh, interesting.
In fact, like Amicia played as young Jill, and Hugo was young Joshua.
That's amazing. Yeah, you know what? And their voices sounded kind of familiar. Because I'm a voice actor nerd. That's really funny. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Fun facts.
Good fun fact, Pat.
Thank you.
Fun fact, I'm going next. Sorry, LeRon. We know what you're playing.
Okay. Well, I brought something to shake it up.
I know. I'm just kidding. So, like I said, I've been playing Ocarina of Time for the first time since Majora's Mask came out. So it's been a really interesting experience, considering Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game, and like I'm starting to see why people kind of don't care for Twilight Princess all that much, because it's sort of similar to Ocarina in a lot of ways, but also Twilight Princess is the best Zelda.
I agree.
I'm
disagree, but that's okay.
That's okay. It's okay to be wrong, Matt.
Okay. I see how it is. Look, you're just not educated enough to truly appreciate Minish Cap, and I get it. A lot of people overlook that one. It's truly the best Zelda game, and it was made by Capcom.
Minish Cap is probably the best 2D. I will give you that one.
Top 5 for me.
Okay, all right.
I am team like the old style Zelda. I am that team.
Okay.
Like I've never been able to fully acclimate to the 3D open world, and definitely whatever like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask was trying to do.
I'm waiting to buy Twilight Princess for the 4th time.
Yeah, those HD ports of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, I don't know what the hell we're waiting for at this point, but like I've still never played Wind Waker, so I need that port.
I know Nintendo's like crying about how they haven't made their year, how they didn't make a year, and like shit, they dropped those 2 games last year, they'd been fine.
Yeah.
Well, we're already getting a new Zelda this year, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're not coming this year.
At this point, I would say let's just hope for it to be on the Wii or the Switch successor, because it's too late in the Switch life cycle to bring those out.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
As
a matter of fact,
system sellers.
It depends on if the next console is backwards compatible or not, which we still don't know.
Yeah, I feel like what was the first Nintendo game for the Switch that opened it up?
Zelda.
It was Zelda. If they end with like remasters of like 2 really most wanted classic games and end the actual Switch life cycle with that, I think they would. I think not only would they be making their best like final year for that system, but I think they would also like make the fans, like extremely happy. You guys already know.
Why would they want to make a good final year? Like, when companies switch to a new system, it's like, let's forget about the old system and focus all support on the new system. Unless you're PlayStation, because you basically let the scalpers grab it all, so you have to make games for the old system.
Here's the thing.
Well, I don't know. Hold on. As a former PlayStation podcast like person here, I'm not gonna say PlayStation let them do anything, because Microsoft also had a problem. What I will say is the retail
system, though. They like Halo Infinite did not come out on the Xbox One. Where
it did.
Sony had to make their games.
Did you just hear Corey? Did you just hear Corey?
What do you say?
Halo Infinite's on Xbox One.
Is it on one? Well, whatever. They're one game.
Sony, right as the PS5 was right as the PS5 was getting ready to drop, Sony was saying like certain IPs, you know, because they were already slated for PS4, were guaranteed to come out on PS4. But Sony had said, but I can't remember which exec that was responsible for like getting the PlayStation 5 through the production and onto the shelves. One of them said
Mark
that
Cerny.
Okay, he said that they were not trying to repeat what happened with PS4 as happened with PS3. And that the PS3 like took more than half of PS4's life cycle before they finally phased it out and stuff like that. They were definitely trying to avoid that. COVID mucked everything up, and you know, with the whole situation with scalping, which by the way, like scalping didn't hurt Sony with PlayStation. It hurt Microsoft with the Xbox Series. It hurt everybody that was trying to get an Nvidia graphics card that year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was insane. And so Sony had to backpedal, and then it kind of hurt the community's faith, because the community was like, well, why are we spending $500 on a system when we can spend $300 and play the games anyway, you know? So it was just one of those things. It was a sad and unfortunate thing, honestly, it still kind of bugs me, which is why I'm kind of irked that they're trying to talk about like the pro version of this PlayStation system. And I'm like, you know what, y'all, I feel like y'all still haven't done enough with the current iteration of the PlayStation. And mine's sitting right over here. Hasn't been turned on. It hasn't been turned on since I moved.
But LeRon, Ratchet and Clank
is phenomenal.
Returnal.
Phenomenal. Guess what? I double dipped. I have the PS5 version and I have the PC version.
Look,
both of those games.
My PS5 is plugged in, waiting for Wolverine.
As a matter of fact,
yeah. Basically.
As a matter of fact, at this point, there's only one game on my PC library that I did not buy already for PlayStation, and that was Ghost of Tsushima.
I don't even know what's installed on my PlayStation right now. I don't remember the last time I turned it on.
Oh, I use my PS5 all the time. It's how I played Animal Well. It's how I play the Yakuza games this year. It's how I played Rebirth. It's what else did I play on that thing? Yeah, I use it. I mean, it's also my way to play streaming shows. Like it's where my Netflix and Hulu and all that live too. But I mean, I use my Switch and my Steam Deck as more than anything else because I prefer handheld gaming anyway. But I still use the PS5. I bought the Resident Evil 3 remake, which I need to play at some point this year for my backlog list. And I started Stranger of Paradise. Didn't grip me. I want to like it, but like it's too close to a Souls game.
The story comes more in the end.
Yeah, I've heard that it's good and it picks phenomenal. Up. Yeah. So I'll go back to it eventually. It's on the list.
Too much.
Oh, chaos. And I think it's how I played Gungrave also. The most recent version of Gungrave, the new one. Oh my god, I forgot the subtitle of it. Whatever it is. Gungrave Gore. I played also on the PS5. So I use mine pretty frequently.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll shit on the PS5, but that's the system I play the most. So
I mean, it's still not perfect, to be clear.
But, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I'm not going to be a 100% fanboy cheerleader about this. It's not perfect.
I mean, they got the best achievement system out of all the systems, so kudos for them. I love those trophies.
Where were we at? Oh, I guess I was okay. Ocarina of Time. Back to what we were originally talking about after we got sidetracked. Switch, the successor. Theory launches with a new Mario game that can only be played on the new system, but you're going to have to satisfy the 144 million people who still have Switches, and it's going to be backwards compatible, and then you can just sell Zelda to everybody. There we go.
Okay.
Everybody wins. Ocarina of Time. Just got through the castle. Sneaking through the castle. Talked to Zelda.
Nice.
Now I'm out. Heading to Death Mountain. That's where I'm at. Mostly because I've been sidetracked by Wolfenstein: The New Order. Why, you ask? Indiana Jones is coming out soon. And I'm trying to refamiliarize myself with machine games and killing Nazis. So figured why not. So I'm having a great time though. The last time I played it was when it was on 360 and it was 4 discs. So it actually still looks really good for a game that was a 360 game essentially. It feels really good to play. The guns feel really good. I like the mix of, objective based things mixed with the shooting, because like it's not just like a Call of Duty game where you shoot everybody, run here, shoot everybody, run here, shoot everybody. You actually have to go like, I just built some sort of sensor to break everybody out of a camp, and it was a really cool mission. And then I got to drive a mech, and it was super cool. And now I'm building some sort of submarine to go, to this secret super science lab underwater. And it's crazy. But also the fact that Machine Games made me feel something for BJ Blazkowicz is like really something. And
did you play the second one?
I played the second one on Switch when it came out.
That's right.
It was actually one of the first games I ever covered in this space. I was going to say professionally, but it was definitely not professional. So yeah, I played it on Switch because Pal Block was the only show we were doing at the time. And, I played everything on Switch at that point.
Okay.
And then I've also been playing Flintlock Siege of Dawn. Oh, going back to Wolfenstein. It's really like, it hits different now for me because my wife and her family are Jewish, and like seeing all the stuff that they like, their family, like their older family, part of the Holocaust stuff, and like they came here, in the 90s after Russia, the USSR stuff. Like, so their family's been through like a lot of weird shit, and so like watching this game kind of portray that kind of stuff, and like, I mean, you hear in history and it's real, but like seeing it happen, and like seeing the Nazis like kick the shit out of prisoners, or like, watching them burn people alive is like really terrifying. And this is a video game, and it's not, and it's just like, it's very, I don't know how to describe it. It's just very hard to watch sometimes, so, and my wife was asking me about it, and she doesn't ask me anything about games. She doesn't care about games. Right. So, it's kind of neat from that perspective. I also played a little bit of Flintlock Siege of Dawn. I don't know how much more I'm going to play of it. It's a game I want to like a lot, and there's just enough that's off that I just am not, like the jumping almost feels great. The dodging almost feels great. The combat almost feels great, but sometimes the double jump isn't responsive. Sometimes you go to attack and she just won't attack, right? And it's just like there's no stamina bar or anything, so it's not like I ran out of stamina so she won't attack. It's just, the game is really unresponsive, and it really sucks because the idea is cool, the premise is cool, and the characters are cool. I'm not compelled to play it because it's just so unresponsive. And I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if it's the Xbox version is just unresponsive, but it's just, it's really frustrating because like the other frustrating part too was like, I was stuck in a tutorial for like 20 minutes because how unresponsive the game was. So it was like this, like,
that sucks.
Yeah. So there's like this combination of buttons you have to hit to break armor off of armored enemies. And I was hitting all the buttons at the right time. Right. And so I turned it off. I walked away. I went and did something. I came back first try, did the exact same thing. Went through first time. I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that's Flintlock. And then I played a bunch of games with my kids, including Mario Kart 8 and Paw Patrol Mighty Pup Save Adventure Bay. Let me tell you, I have 350 achievement points in Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay. We're about 2/3 of the way through. My son loves every minute of it. So,
how about you? You loving every minute of it?
So, no. But I do want to say, out of all the kids' games we've played, including the Bluey video game, including some other kids' things that I can't even think of right now because they're so all over the place with this stuff, this game is actually a pretty competent game in teaching kids how to move around in a 3D space, how to platform. It kind of reminds me of Banjo-Kazooie in a way, actually. It's a major collectathon. All the dogs have special abilities that, certain things in the world require, and they're actually very good at teaching you how to do those things. There's a bunch of mini games that my kids loved, like there's a snow plowing mini game, and find all this missing fruit for the fruit delivery guy, and it's a pretty competent kids game. I will give it that. And you think of things like Super Lucky's Tale, that's not very good. And, some of these other platformers, at least on Game Pass, that are just like, they're trying to be kids games and they're not very good. This game's better than most of those, I will say. But no, I'm not enjoying every minute of it. So that's what I've been playing. LeRon, what are you playing? You said you're switching it up.
Yeah, I am switching it up. So, I mean, besides my same old, Tekken 8 and Dead Space Remake, which, by the way, okay, so Tekken 8 had an unexpected update, a patch. Let's call it a patch. They had an unexpected patch because, like, when I played on Sunday, I didn't see any news, like, on like the little ticker that the game has on the main screen about any updating, any upcoming updates or patches or whatnot. So I didn't play it all. Actually, I take that back. I didn't play it all. No, wait, I can't remember what day it was. Anyway, I jump on yesterday and I see that there's a system maintenance is about to happen. Well, server maintenance is about to happen because there's an incoming patch. Okay, cool. I had to go through and delete like 70 something replays because like Tekken 8 has this wonderful mode where you can go through your replays and you can actually like basically turn them into tutorials. Like it'll teach you how to like block or avoid moves and how to punish moves from the opponent. And so it helps you analyze and actually improve your gameplay, overall in the fighting game space and stuff like that. That's cool. I had a bunch of replays that I had not gone through yet and stuff like that. And because the patch came, I was like, oh well, I guess I gotta delete all 76 these replays now.
Nice.
And the reason why it happens is because like these patches or these updates come out and like they change moves and behaviors of all the characters and stuff like that. Naturally. And also sometimes environmental stuff is also changing and stuff like that. Well, when I say change moves, I don't mean like I don't mean like if this is Street Fighter, Ryu can no longer do dragon punches, that's that would break the game. That would break the character, in my opinion. No, it's just minor stuff that, like basically it's called unintended behavior and stuff like that. So like they're always trying to fix that. They're always trying to fix stuff that, is like overpowered. They're always trying to fix stuff that, should be doing the correct amount of damage overall and stuff like that. Whether it's bringing the damage up to a different part of the scale or if it's actually, shrinking it down, stuff like that. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem. I'm always for like any type of patches that actually fix games and make them more playable for a bigger part of the community. But every time a patch comes out, and since Tekken 8 has been out, there's been 7 patches. It's chaos for me to like go back and look at my replays and stuff like that. So sometimes I'm in a mad scramble to just jump on, turn the game on. Turn the game on, put Steam in like offline mode to where I can still have access to the internet, because like you have to go to the internet for it to like load the replay. And then I have to like record like either using OBS or NVIDIA Shadow Play just so I can have it. And that's just so like, hey, I can just upload it to YouTube later, you know, stuff like that. Hey, watch me, I suck. You know, this is how I got trounced this time, you know, stuff like that, you know. I'm a big downer on myself. I mean, I'm high level, but you know, I'm right now stuck in like ranks, you know, and it's just a thing. So yeah, so Tekken 8 and Dead Space, the Dead Space remake, because I'm getting ready for the book club that's coming out real soon. But Sunday I was I had a day out on the town. I went like to this antique place. That man, me calling it an antique place is not doing it justice, man. It's like if the mall was nothing but used shit. And I know people saying, "Oh, he just talked about flea market." No, this is indoors. This is indoors. Well,
so marketplace, everybody.
I like that word. Yeah.
That's what it's called here.
That descriptor. Yeah. So I went out and so me and some buddies, we went out to Virginia Beach, and I was looking for one thing specifically and stuff like that. But I almost walked out of that place with the damn Monster Hunter Rise and the Sunbreak amiibos. I almost walked out the store of them. Oh, and by the way, I should have took a picture for you guys. They had the Legend of Zelda 4-pack of amiibos for $65 unopened. Unopened. I should take a picture for you guys to figure out like if somebody wanted it. But yeah. But while we were also out there on the other side of the water, because I live in what's called the Peninsula, the Hampton Roads area. So we're in a different area. We're in the Yorktown Williamsburg side of the Hampton Roads, and Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach is on the other side of the tunnel and stuff like that. So we're in Virginia Beach, and the Lego store is out there, which, man, that was an event when they first opened it up. The Lego store has probably been open for like 8 months at this point, but man, that was an event. So yeah, I kind of went a little ham while I was out there. So I'll start with the small thing, which is one of the old vintage Lego sets right there. Because this is the stuff that was around when I was a kid. This particular like space version, like with all those logos and stuff. So yeah, that's one thing. But this is my all right here. I got a fucking Technic VTOL. And if anyone that knows anything about Technic Legos, these are the ones that have like all the moving parts. So I mean, they move while the Lego is still assembled and stuff like that. This thing is sick. Like if you want a better idea of what's up with it, it's number 42181. Just go to Lego's website and check that out. And man, like I cannot wait to spend an entire weekend putting this bitch together.
Nice.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, as it stands right now, I have 5 Lego sets that I have not put together yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I am doing that thing that we hear on social media called I am spending grown people money. Grown people. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I'm still debating on if I'm upgrading to the ROG Ally X, which of course if I do decide to update to the ROG Ally X, Corey, you are first in line for my ROG Ally. So there it is. I kind of want it just because in the black shell. I loved the ROG Ally, you know, like it was nice having like another white system, you know, to go with the PS5 and stuff like that. But I'm over it now. my computer aesthetic is black, so why the hell do I have a white handheld PC? I love my ROG Ally though. That's where I'm playing Dead Space at right now. Like the Dead Space remake, I'm playing that on the ROG Ally, and I'm playing Tekken 8 on my PC.
Nice.
That's it for me.
Nice. Well, Pat, I guess it's your turn.
Yes, it is. You ready to strap yourself down for the whole like shebang of games I've been playing for the last 2 weeks?
I'm strapped in.
All right. Good for you. So last week I did manage to play the Visions of Mana demo.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, that game is beautiful. Like, whew, you got that awesome high fantasy storybook kind of look going on with it. It is so very much a Japanese JRPG. Your cast of characters will have the voice range from like young man to really like squeaky, like high pitched voice for like the fairy characters, or it. They got their typical Japanese tropes going on with it, but don't let that like deter you from trying out this game. This game definitely has a lot going for it. The demo itself opens up to a pretty huge area. Out of demos, though, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that this demo isn't one of those that carries progress forward. This is one of those that you play, and you will probably have to go through the level again when the full game comes out.
That's pretty rare for Square at this point.
I know, and this demo took me about 2 hours to beat, but I also, because knowing that it wasn't connected to the main game, I did sidestep a lot of the exploration and side quests that you can do because I don't want to replay those again in the main game. But from what I did play, I did enjoy it. Combat is action oriented. They do a really cool thing with the battle system. If you ever played a mana game, you know that there is usually weapons, like different weapons that you can use in the game, or different mana spirits that would give you like abilities, such as fire or water. Well, in this one, the mana spirits actually are your classes in the game. So by equipping a mana spirit, you are now a different kind of class, and you can then put points into the skills of these classes, and then you can then switch kind of on the fly. Not in the battle, but like out on to the world map. I believe you can just kind of like switch up your classes, and it's kind of cool because like every character, like the classes are unique to the character depending on what spirit that they get. But like if you have a character that's more of a mage build, those spirits are going to give them more mage build classes versus a physical fighter is going to get more physical, like more tanky classes. Or it's really cool how they do that, but you can only play around with 2 spirits in this demo, so it's going to be very interesting to see how all 8 spirits come along and like just open up the, I guess, just how open the combat's going to be with all these like combinations of spirits and characters that you can combine together. But I did thoroughly enjoy my time with the demo, and it's something I do look forward to picking up here, in the very near future.
Awesome. Nice. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I also picked up a classic PlayStation 1 game that came out thanks to Limited Run's Carbon engine.
Tomba.
And that's right.
Yeah.
Tomba. Also, legacy to Akira Toriyama's little pink-haired caveman.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's let me tell you, this game is not one that aged well. The opening CG is like, it's very hard to watch.
You're just not playing it right, Pat.
I mean, I can't play it. It's CG.
Don't do Tomba like that.
But it is still, it's still a very fun game. Very interesting. Just kind of going through just the world and like doing, like interacting in some little way. All of a sudden opens up a mission to take on, and there's like over 100. I think there's like 130 missions in this game that you can end up like tackling. Not necessarily on the main line, but just like maybe you like use this plant that shrunk a pig and you pick the pig up, all of a sudden that pops up a mission that you're going to be using this little tiny pig for later. Or you come across a box that with a giant AP on it, and that comes up with a mission saying open the box when you have enough AP. It's kind of like little checks to be like, hey, you came across this, and that during your journey. What's cool about Tomba, it's a 2D platformer, but they call it a 2.5D because you have the ability to jump back and forth into the background and foreground depending on whether or not there's something you can jump to like kind of within the same level in the background. Let's say you're on one roof, you can jump over to like another roof that's like right at the same level if it's connected to the background and nothing's obstructing you.
Oh, nice.
So it's fun kind of going into the foreground and then going through the area again, but in the background, and finding little secrets and treasures, and just beating up all the little piggies that try to beat up on you because the pigs are bad. They rob people and they stole Tomba's grandfather's amulet.
Mm.
Another Toriyama staple. Something of your grandfather gets stolen, you need to get it back.
Classic Toriyama.
Toriyama, yep.
Rascal.
But yeah, it's definitely a game that I do want to get back into here shortly, but I've been spending my time and focus on Jedi Survivor.
Nice.
Like, I re-picked that up again because I didn't get too far. I probably got like 25% when I did my initial playthrough. And I decided with the Star Wars Outlaws coming out, I want to finish up this game so I don't have two big Star Wars games to worry about in the future. And you know what? This world is huge. Like, it's just crazy, like how big and like layered this world is. It's almost intimidating trying to find all the little secrets and stuff. And thankfully, towards the end of the game, you can find these consoles that like put little like marks on the map where where these various collectibles are, because I don't want to just beat Jedi Survivor. I want to platinum Jedi Survivor.
Wow.
Ooh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's a tall order. Yeah, I loved the game when I played it. It pretty much improved the first game in every single way.
Yeah.
It's one of my. It wasn't my game of the year last year, but it was pretty close. Like, it was up there on my list of games. But I can't imagine platinuming it. There's so much. It's great. There's so much.
Yeah. I'm at the point now. I could beat the game if I want to, like right this minute, but I am going through and I'm going in 100%ing all these planets right now. In the game. But man, I gotta tell you, the game starts off kind of on the slow side. Like, for the first 20 hours of the game, like it didn't really feel like there was much story being told. But wow, I gotta say, when you get to like the third act of this game, like the story just goes into hyperdrive mode, and it's just like the acting is so incredibly well done. The story beats are so powerful. It's like, where was this for the beginning part of the game? Like, I am like now super invested in like seeing what happens to these characters, and I'm almost done with it. So it's like, well, I hope there's a third game now, because like, you just gave Cal like a momentous amount of character building in a span of like 1 hour.
Yeah, plus I need him and Marin to start having little alien babies.
Yeah, that too.
Just gonna throw that out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he's not, I'll volunteer.
Something about those blue-skinned aliens and Russian accents.
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, you could have
Clearly Corey has a type.
I mean,
Yep.
Look, we already talked about Liara earlier tonight. So.
Yeah, I was saying. Shout out to Ali Hillis.
Yeah, but I will hopefully have this beat here soon, like in the next day or two. I'm only have Cobalt left to get everything in, and that should hopefully then give me the last few achievements I need, because I got all the combat-based ones. It's just the collecting ones that I need to finish up on. And then for kind of that like peaceful game that I keep going back to, Power Wash Simulator. They have been killing it with the DLC this summer. Like, they had their paid expansion with the Adventures of Alice, or Alice's Adventures, basically Alice in Wonderland. But then they're also celebrating their 2-year anniversary, and they have released since then 5 free DLC levels.
Nice.
Kind of ranging with like summer theme. So you've cleaned a cruise ship, You do an aquarium, a submarine, you do a rich dude's house, and a fire plane. And, it's just, I love just how devoted they are to this game. Like, to me, the game is super peaceful. I enjoy seeing something that's like an absolute mess become like something that's just so bright and just vibrant after you give it a nice clean power washing. And also that chime that you get every single time you like complete a part. And if you complete like multiple parts and like within one kind of streak, you just go it's that rewarding feeling.
I can't believe how much DLC that game's gotten.
It's ridiculous, and the crossovers have been insane. I mean, some of them make sense. Like, it's funny, I forgot Square Enix publishes that, because when the Final Fantasy VII DLC came out, I said, "What? Why?" And then I realized it's like, oh no, that actually makes a lot more sense than the other ones.
Yeah, no, the other ones are definitely out there, like the Warhammer 40K, and the Back to the Future one were kind of like interesting. They weren't my favorites. I loved the Final Fantasy. I loved the Tomb Raider. I loved SpongeBob. Alice was also pretty good. But even the free DLC is like still like phenomenal. Just the levels that they produce. So I'm happy. I both want them to continue to make more of this game, but I also would love to see them take it to the next level. Like with Power Wash 2 or whatever they can, play on with that.
Right, yeah.
How would you improve Power Wash Simulator, Pat? I stumped.
Well, there are things like, one of the things they've been kind of experimenting on is kind of like mechanics of like moving parts. That was something that was pretty big with the Warhammer expansion, and that kind of made cleaning a little more on the difficult side. That it would be interesting for them to experiment more with that. That way it makes it a little more challenging. But like Power Wash, the story is just absolutely off the wall. So they could literally do anything with that.
Story?
Like,
there's a story?
Yeah, there is a story to this game.
Hold on. I thought it was just you go into this like a place and you just squirt stuff. There's a story?
Yeah. There is a massive story in this.
Yeah.
Like you start off with just simple missions. Like you start off cleaning your first car and then, getting these jobs that all of a sudden they're starting to take a weird turn. You're understanding the lore of the neighborhood, such as why have the cats gone missing and what's actually causing everything to be so dirty in the first place.
Man.
And you end up saving the planet in the end.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Now I'm intrigued. Is this the next Talk the Walk episode?
Oh man, we would need a few Talk the Walk episodes for this one.
Yeah, one for
the
each
lore
DLC.
Is that deep.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on into. Is that all you've been playing, Pat? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna move on into our weekly segment. LeRon will be back momentarily. Should we reveal what he shared with us? Parents and technology, everybody. That's all I have to say. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. Our weekly segment this week, there's been a lot of downers this week, either this past 2, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know, however long downers. Let's give some praise to people in the industry. Attaboy is our segment. Each of us will pick a person, company, or developer to shout out who's doing something great in the game industry or otherwise. Matt, you're our esteemed guest.
Well, thank you. I'll go first then. I mean, we talked about it in the pre-show a bit, sans Corey, but I do want to kind of give Game Informer its flowers. I think that running a print magazine in the year of our Lord 2024 seems impossible, and after Friday now is impossible. But they were around for 33 years. They are easily one of the best gaming magazines to exist, gaming websites to exist. Had one of the best weekly podcasts. They were my news source even before I started editing the show. All of the folks over there who worked tirelessly to go to these places, write these cover stories, all the folks behind the scenes who did all of that stuff as well. I think that they all worked really hard to make that site what it was, and they should definitely not be forgotten. I mean, the entire staff that was laid off was, of course, the editor-in-chief Matt Miller, the magazine content director Kyle Hilliard, the online content coordinator Brian Shea, associate editors Wesley LeBlanc and Marcus Stewart, and Charles Hart. There was, of course, the video editor and one of the podcast hosts, along with Kyle Hilliard and Marcus Stewart, Alex Van Aken, who is my inroad to editing for the show. The production director, Margaret Andrews, the lead graphic designer, Leah Azarshan. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Graphic designer, Monica Ortiz. Web designer and programmer, John Woody. Operations manager, Sarah Hansen. And marketing coordinator, Rachel Castle. By the way, that was the full staff that made all of that shit happen.
12 people.
Which is wild. It was, of course, much more, and they continued to GameStop continued to gut that place over and over again. But I just wanted to give an opportunity and a formal thank you to Game Informer, because it changed. I've been rating Game Informer since I was like 8 years old, since it started.
Yeah.
And to get to work for that publication in any capacity, as small as my role was a dream come true. So I'm glad I got to do it for 2 years. And it sucks that it's gone, but hopefully those folks will all land on their feet somewhere else.
Yeah. Man, you were doing that for 2 years?
Yep. 2 years. Started July 2 years ago.
Man. Yeah, Game Informer, what a, I don't mean to just pick the same one, but I also, Game Informer was gaming magazines for me after Nintendo Power, especially after Nintendo Power went away, right? Like,
yeah,
Game Informer was the magazine. I looked forward to getting it in the mailbox every week. I still did up until, last week, but I love flipping through the pages. I love looking at the cover art. I mean, Replay and Super Replay are literal weekly watches for me. I mean, I've been watching. That's how I found games like, Blue Stinger is probably my favorite one. I know that was probably like a decade ago at this point. Gosh, I mean, Tim Turry and Reiner and Dan Reichert were all still there, but like, still Majora's Mask and Banjo-Kazooie recently. Like, Game Informer was just a staple in my gaming life, whether it was on in the background or I was, watching it while I was editing, or, listening to the Game Informer show every week. Like, and I still can't believe that institution was run by 12 people, plus, it's just nuts. I mean,
it's wild.
I remember when Ben Hansen left, and he kind of alluded to that they needed more people, and it was 23 people at that point.
Yeah.
And the fact that it was cut in half and still producing what they were producing, like, man, shout out to Game Informer. They're going to be missed. I mean, this is going to have a bigger ripple effect through the industry than just another magazine going away. I really think that the industry is going to feel this for a long time.
Agreed. Yeah, totally.
So,
the support on Twitter has been, very, very supportive, aside from the few griefers. But
Griefers on Twitter? No.
What? Never.
Talking about the King Griefer who came up with ways and how he would have saved the magazine.
Okay.
Oh no, that was Destiny. The ways he would save Destiny. But he also
we all have opinions on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I guess my attaboy, I would like to give my attaboy to Dark Horse Comics.
Hell yeah.
Because recently at San Diego Comic-Con, they had 2 statues on display that might have hinted the revival of a really awesome niche video game series.
I know you're talking.
Or you can just go ahead and say it, Darksiders. You can just go ahead and say it.
It's not Darksiders.
It's not Darksiders? What's the other one then?
Legacy of Kain.
Legacy of
Oh,
Kain.
that's right. Yeah.
They had 2 statues with a bar, like a QR code to scan. That rumored of a possible remaster. Which, boy, does that series need it! I replayed the first Soul Reaver recently for a different podcast that won't be out for a while, and I love that game. Aesthetics and vibes are still immaculate, but the controls are awful. God, the game just plays terribly. And it's a bummer because I love the Legacy of Kain series. It was only 4 or 5 games, but I loved them. I thought they were great.
No, I mean I would be excited to get the Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered that's being predicted. They really need to bring back the original though, or at least remake it, just because there is so much story behind. I mean that everything that happens in all the other games happened because of that one game.
Yep.
So
yeah.
So Blood Omen is also a part of that series, right?
Right. Blood Omen 1 and 2.
Yeah.
In fact, Blood Omen was the first game in the series, and then Soul Reaver, then Blood Omen 2, then
I think Soul Reaver 1 and then Soul Reaver 2, then Blood Omen 2.
Then Blood Omen 2. Yeah.
And then Defiance, which combined them, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But Blood Omen was Kane's side of the story.
Yeah.
Soul Reaver was Raziel's side, and then Defiance combined the 2.
Yeah.
And we never got to see the end.
No.
Left it on that cliffhanger.
Yep. Yeah, there was supposed to be another game after Defiance, or maybe even 2, and then the series just died.
Man, I hate when series do that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you mean when Microsoft closed down a studio for one of the best-selling games, probably on the Xbox platform last year, made one of the best rhythm action games to ever exist, and then killed the studio, even though that game was considered a huge success? You mean stuff like that, Corey? Sorry, I'm still bitter.
Yeah, aren't we all? We're
I mean, look.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, you have an 808 shirt.
Speaking of that, you know what? We should just put Microsoft in penalty box. No Xbox game this year on the Bossies will be nominated for Game of the Year. So sorry, Senua Saga.
I mean, to be fair, I love that game more than most people. I don't think that game's getting nominated for anything but art. By the way, it looks.
Well, no, I'm just saying, Microsoft stepped in, and we talked about this, ad infinitum, episode after episode this year and stuff like that. So we don't have to talk about it that much right now. We don't need to talk about it at all, actually.
As someone who loves the Xbox ecosystem, it's been infuriating for. I mean, it's been infuriating for a decade, but it's also been infuriating the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So.
Hi-Fi Rush is probably one. It's in my top 10 games of all time. It jumped up there after playing it, and
Did
it's
you
just
see what they said recently.
Yeah, it just kills me. I'm praying that limited run still comes out, because once they run out of the rights, the Steam game's going to get updated. We're going to lose all those custom tracks. So all the license tracks. So I want that PlayStation 5 disc version so I can keep that forever, because that game was damn near perfect, and it's just heartbreaking that studio got clobbered.
Yeah,
I mean, both studios, one bad game shouldn't have shot down Arcane Austin either, right? We all they made so many great games, and one bad game shouldn't have been the end of that studio.
Plus,
Tango didn't have a bad game. All their games were gold.
Right. No, I know. I'm saying Austin. Well, I mean, arguably you could say Ghostwire Tokyo wasn't, but even still, I'm talking about Redfall. Redfall shouldn't have killed that studio, and any other studio should be allowed to fail. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sidetracking us, but I'm still so mad about this because it's just ridiculous. It's wild.
We all feel the pain.
I wanted Ghostwire to hit so many other countries.
Look, if you ever want to, record a Microsoft rant podcast, Matt, you're more than welcome to jump on anytime, and we will all sit here with you.
I'm down. Seriously. No, I mean, I wanted to play Ghostwire. I have it on, I think, Epic, so I will eventually. But it's just like Microsoft
might Japanese culture and like yokai and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a fun game to learn from.
You know what else blows my mind about that? They've been trying to have a foothold in Japan for so long, and they finally have a Japanese studio with a business model that does not revolve around selling their own games, and they still close them.
Yeah. And again, Hi-Fi Rush was from a Japanese studio, and one of their most it shadow dropped and blew up like gangbusters. They locked it on they put it on Game Pass. So of course we have no idea what the sales would have been like, but I bought it on Steam immediately after playing it on Game Pass and loving it because I wanted to support the damn studio.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. Shame. Part of my attaboy goes out to Tango Gameworks. Those guys rule.
Yeah. I hope they turn up soon in another studio and make.
I really want
awesome.
to. I mean, John Johannes has talked about how he needs to step away, but again, he's just so brilliant, and I really just want him to open his own studio, start somewhere else, file the serial numbers off of Hi-Fi Rush, and just makes another game like that because it was phenomenal.
Yeah,
lo-fi beats.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. LeRon, what's your attaboy this week?
Actually, to follow along with Pat, my attaboy also goes to a comic book studio, Marvel, because I'm a fan of the Alien movie franchise, and of course, when Alien Romulus comes out, in a little while, I will be in the theaters cringing and everything because I can't stand seeing body horror, but I always watch an Alien film. But if you guys, if I know you haven't seen it, Corey, but if you guys have seen Aliens, like James Cameron's the sequel to the original movie, they just did a what if storyline that said, what if Carter Burke had survived the Hadley's Hope incident, and it is a I think it's a five episode thing, five issue comic book series, written by Paul Reiser and his son. Along with a few other talented people over at Marvel Studios and stuff like that. And the illustrations are amazing. And basically it talks about when spoilers for anyone who's never seen Aliens. I don't know how the hell you have not seen a movie from 1986 at this point, especially if you love good horror films and you love James Cameron. But anyway, basically, when Burke gets separated from the from Ripley and the other people that are trying to make it out of the colony, and he gets snatched by a xenomorph. That's supposed to be the end of his story right there. We all know, the one of them bastards gets you dead. Yeah, but while they were taking him to the nest, a wall explodes nearby and stuff like that, and by the grace of whatever, he's able to escape captivity from the xenomorphs, and he's actually able to stow away when Ripley, Newt, Hicks, and Bishop get off of the planet before the colony blows and stuff like that. And then just series of events, he hooks back up with the company and stuff like that, and the company is just pissed because they were supposed to bring back a xenomorph specimen. And they're pissed because not only did not bring back any xenomorph specimens, the entire colony was destroyed, which that's a major development for the company, PR nightmare for them and stuff like that. So they were basically going to have Burke to take the fall for it and everything like that. Burke was able to leverage himself and basically pull one over on the company, and the company's like, okay, fine, we'll play your game, but your corporate career, you thought your career up the corporate ladder is done from here. And then just talks about the ordeals he's gone through and stuff like that, and his path to redemption because he turns on the company,
Wow.
And basically, even though he was a sleaze in the movie, Paul Reiser did a wonderful job of playing that character, by the way. He was a sleaze in the movie and stuff like that, but he kind of gets a redemption arc as you read this 5-issue comic series and stuff like that. So that was cool. It was unexpected. I didn't even know it happened until I didn't even know it was out actually. So like by the time I heard it was out, like they were already on issue 3 with issue 4 coming out, and now all five issues are out now. And I just haven't picked up the last issue yet, so I don't know how it ends and stuff like that. But it is good. It's good. It's written well. Wonderful hand-drawn artwork and stuff like that. It's good. So like if you're a fan of particularly the Aliens movie, the second movie, you like the franchise and stuff like that, and you kind of want to see how things could have possibly went if it went a different way, before we got to the events of Alien 3. Grab these 5 comics. You can find them on the shelf. I was in a comic book shop over the weekend, and every copy was available from issue 1 up to 4. Actually 5, and 5 has a variant cover. So there's 2 editions of issue 5. Yeah,
nice. That sounds awesome.
Nice. I like what if storylines.
I like extended universes too. Like when the Buffy comics, a lot of them were really great. Also, showing the different routes that the Buffy the Vampire story could take. Like I love that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right, everybody. It's time for the Boss Rush Banter of the Week. This is a segment where we highlight one of the Boss Rush Banter features over on the website, bossrush.net. This one is from Josh Martinez. A gaming masterpiece transcends the limitations of its time. Basically, I just want to talk about games that you think if they came out today or they came out 40 years ago or somewhere in between, their quality transcends time. Obviously, for me, Tetris is the one, right? I mean, I have Tetris, some form of Tetris on every single device that I own.
Same. Yeah.
Sometimes 2 or 3 versions, like my Switch, where I have Puyo Puyo Tetris, Tetris 99, and Tetris Effect all downloaded. So yeah, I just kind of want to go around the horn and see who thinks what. Pat, I'm picking on you first.
Thank you. I will have to go with Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
this game not only like really created the renaissance of the Metroidvania. Metroidvanias still use a lot of the systems that Symphony of the Night, played on. So I feel like you could bring a port of Symphony of the Night over, and it would still be just as good today as it was back in like 20 plus years ago. I also said Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Oh yeah, sorry.
I was just going to say it's one of my gaming shames is I've never played Castlevania, any of them.
Well, it's on. Symphony of the Night's on PS5 in a collection.
Yeah,
and even though they changed the voice acting, which I don't love,
no,
it's definitely worth playing.
I had that whole speech memorized, and they had to go and screw it up.
Yeah.
What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets? Have at you!
Wow, that's spot on, Pat.
Thank you.
I can only imagine. I have the Xbox 360 arcade version on my Series X, so maybe it's.
And that's the best version, if you ask me. That's how I played it the most, was on the Xbox 360 version.
Cool.
I got my PS1 version still in the library over there.
Nice.
I also said Elder Scrolls Oblivion would be another good one. For me, that kind of brought about the beginning of like massive open world RPGs where you play how you want to play. There's no real restrictions. If you want to be a jerk, go ahead and play as a jerk. If you want to be the good guy and like try and like solve everyone's problems, you can go ahead and do that. Like it opened up a lot of like just role playing in general, I feel.
Nice. Yeah, Oblivion. I had Oblivion and Gears of War were the only 2 games I had for Xbox 360 for like a year, until Halo 3 came out, I think. LeRon, what about you?
I've got a few. Like we all know, I'm a big Metroid fan.
What?
And yeah, like I say Super Metroid and Metroid Zero Mission combined. Like that's something. Like of course, like in modern game speak now, like of course Metroid Zero Mission is actually people are going to hate me for this. It's the superior version compared to Super Metroid, but that does not mean that Super
People
Metroid
shouldn't hate you because you're right. Like I play both those games. I play all of these games often, and I love Super Metroid. Zero Mission's the better game, hands down, without a doubt.
Super Metroid needs the zero mission like treatment. If I'm
I
not
agree.
if you know, like, I feel that way because, like, in all honesty, Super Metroid was great when it came out on the Super NES. Do not get me wrong, and I still play it. I can't speed run it anymore, but I still play Super Metroid whenever I get that wild hair. But it's a product of its time. Like, like Samus is floaty. Look, it feels like things are kind of OP in the game and stuff like that. But it's still a masterpiece on its own. But I smashed those two together because Metroid Zero Mission definitely got all the inspiration from Super Metroid to do a complete remake of like an NES game. That was sparse on graphics. So yeah. I also said, throwing back for more Nintendo history, I also said the original NES edition of Bionic Commando. Now, hear me out, because the first thing everybody wants to bitch about when they think about the old school Bionic Commando game is that guy couldn't jump. It was a platformer, the guy couldn't jump. That's what the Bionic armor's for. He could swing and traverse like terrain and stuff like that. The reason why I say Bionic Commando, because like it was obvious like the English version was definitely like trying to like dance around the whole Nazi thing and stuff like that. So we get this very imagined like army that has all these Nazi tropes and stuff like that. The original Japanese game, it was definitely the Nazis. They as a matter of fact, I think even Nazis or Hitler is in the title for Bionic Commando and stuff like that. The reason why I say this game though is because like right when you're at the final act of the game and stuff like that, when you're trying to escape, you have to get past the big bad who's resurrected Adolf Hitler and stuff like that, and I kid you not, like your kill shot for this guy, you actually see this dude's face obliterate. That was a shock for me, because that was an NES game. And to this day, I don't think an NES game has ever had that type of like graphic like depiction of like, normally you just shoot a guy, they just fall and stuff like that. But it has cinematic for what happened to this guy's head when you kill him. And it was wild and stuff like that. So yeah. And then to bring it a little bit closer to our era, but still a throwback, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Now a lot of people have probably noticed about me, especially if like you've listened to the Crossroads podcast back in the day. Metal Gear Solid 3 was a game that I did not like when it first originally released on PS2. Like it was something. I think mainly it was about the terrain and traversal and stuff like that. It felt like they were trying to go open world on it. Like it's still sandbox in my opinion, because like there was only one right path to go, like, to progress the story and things like that. But, I didn't appreciate it when it first came out on PS2, but when the MGS HD collection came out, I replayed it then. I played it on the PS Vita, and I understand why everybody loves this game, and I understand why this game like is a standout title. Like people are gonna say like Metal Gear Solid, like the very first one, is like the pinnacle of the series. But Metal Gear Solid 3, I feel like Kojima could do no wrong by that point and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he was at his peak.
Man, another gaming sin for me is never playing Metal Gear, any of the Metal Gear games.
I've never played
I've
never played a single Metal Gear Solid game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't like stealth games. Besides the Batman games, like I never really play stealth games, so I skipped all those.
You can play MGS 1 and 2 without stealthing. MGS 3, you need to stealth.
Yeah.
MGS 4, you can play without stealthing.
MGS makes you feel bad if you kill a lot of people later.
Yeah, it does. It does. oh yeah, because a boss fight basically involves every single person you killed in the game up to that point.
Mm-hmm. And how you killed them. So
you killed them, yeah.
Shot at someone, they will be walking around with their hands over their nuts.
Oh, that's graphic.
It is graphic.
Matt, what about you?
I mean, the obvious answer is Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger is one of the best RPGs ever made.
Yes.
It is one of the best games ever made. It's my favorite game of all time. And I know people who played it for the first time last year who were like, wow, this game's incredible. Some people may not think it holds up to like its stellar reputation. I don't agree with that necessarily, but I think it is flawless for what it is, and one of the best RPGs ever made. The other one is, so I agree with Zero Mission, but for me, Metroid Fusion will always be the better Metroid game. I love every Metroid game, but Fusion I play once a year, every year, especially now that's on the Switch, the NES NSO, and I love Metroid Fusion. When I got my Analog Pocket, the first cartridge I popped in was an original copy of Metroid Fusion. I think it takes the Metroidvania style, but putting it in specific parts of the map and locking you to smaller areas to fully explore was revolutionary for the time. Obviously, Dread takes a lot of inspiration from that as a direct sequel, and I love Dread. But I think it's like it's got some of the best boss fights I think in the history of the franchise and in Metroidvania history, and it's a horror game. I mean, all the Metroid games are creepy, but like Fusion is a horror game. There's some
man, just getting dogged by the SAX is wild.
Oh my god! Oh, the first time you see her,
yeah,
horrifying. And then a more recent one, though it is 10 years old, which kind of blows my goddamn mind. Shovel Knight is a game that could have existed on the Nintendo with not some of the bells and whistles, and it can exist now. Shovel Knight is one of my favorite indie games ever made. I love Yacht Club games, and especially all of the campaigns are great, but the original Shovel of Hope campaign is just, I think it's a perfect action platformer. I can't think of a single flaw with that game. So those are like my major 3 picks.
Shovel Knight's good.
Just real quickly, because I want Matt to be mad as I ask Pat and Corey this question. Did you guys listen to that podcast I sent you? This guy did a breakdown. This guy, he's a musician. He's a musician, and he heard the Chrono Trigger soundtrack for the first time, and he was wowed. And when I said first time, I mean like a month ago. He heard it for the first time ever and stuff like that, because people requested, hey, do listen to this and do breakdowns of like the score and everything and stuff like that. Did you guys listen to that, Pat and Corey?
Nope.
Matt, you have my permission to yell at them. Yell at them for me.
I mean, I'm not gonna yell at them, but it is definitely worth watching. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched a bunch of it, and Chrono Trigger has. I can't say that Chrono Trigger is the best game ever made, because I think there's some hyperbole there. There is no hyperbole in saying that Chrono Trigger's soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks ever made.
One of the best video game soundtracks
without a doubt.
Made.
Yes, Mitsura.
Yeah, I mean,
so good.
It's just so good. So definitely check out that video, because it's really wild to see someone who has like not a lot of video game experience and had never heard that soundtrack break it down.
Yeah,
because it's masterful. I mean, I've ranted and raved for ages. My favorite theme is Magus's theme, and it wasn't until I was an adult that I realized it was a bossa nova track. Like it's got. Like I can picture the dancing and like the step to step, and it's brilliant.
It's always going to be the Zeal theme for me, like the Island in the Sky. Oh my god, it brings me so much joy whenever I hear that track.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I understand all these references.
Sure. Corey,
go walk out in the traffic after this recording.
I might.
Listen to the Chrono Trigger soundtrack first. I can do that.
Oh, yeah. Should I listen to it while I'm walking out in the traffic? Is there a sad?
There are tons.
There are tons of sad ones. Like shoot, when and you know what? Now I think about it, Chrono Trigger. I think Chrono Trigger was like an enigma when it came out, because to my knowledge, that's the first game ever where the main character dies and you have to continue the game as the sub characters.
Spoilers.
Hey,
for a very old game.
Yeah, it's for a very old game. Like shit. Like people.
But yeah, no, it was the first time that a game had like changed, like remove the protagonist based on something that happens in the game. Yeah. It was revolutionary. It did a lot of things for the first time, and it's just kind of wild.
And I feel it got time travel right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's still loopholes. There's still holes in the plot,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's definitely one of the better time travel stories. And also, like, it's the only time that before. I mean, now they're one company, but it was the only time that like the two most popular RPG makers like lent people to like folks from Enix, famous folks, you know, the Dream Team, came over to Square to make this game. Like they weren't a combined studio yet. It's just wild. It's unheard of. Like imagine if like Neil Druckmann and Cory Barlog teamed up to work on a game together over at Sony. Like that just doesn't happen anymore. So it's just kind of wild.
Hideo and Suda51 and Squarey and
that would be a weird game, whatever that was.
Throw in Jordan Peele for that American, attraction.
Speaking of team ups, my other answers are Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist. I play those a lot. Now, especially because the Cowabunga collection has made it easier. Although you should buy it physically because I hear the rights are running out for that very soon too. So, which is a little ridiculous, but whatever. So, man, Shovel Knight, what a good choice! I love Shovel Knight so much.
I really want to replay it, but I don't have the time.
The Spectre Knight campaign is also very good.
I mean, they're all excellent. I happen to like the King Knight one best because I think it's the funniest. But they're all great.
Yeah. All right, let's get into these listener questions. We have 3 to get through tonight. Remember, you can leave them in the Discord. You can look for the Twitter thread, leave them on Patreon, wherever. We check for them. We had way too many last week. So the One True James writes in via Discord, what is the oldest game you regularly revisit? I mean, I feel like my answers are the same as the last time. Tetris. Probably 2 or 3 times a week I play Tetris before bed. And then the Turtles games, like I said, I love sitting down to replay those games. And now that my kids are getting old enough to play games, right, that like my son is really into Ninja Turtles too, and watching him watch me play or him trying to play is also really fun. And I feel like brawlers are simple enough games for them to learn how to play. Just because it's pretty much button mashing and moving side to side. So
basically,
yeah. Plus, I have the Switch, NES, and Super Nintendo and Genesis controllers, which are
nice,
way less buttons for them to focus on. And they work on the Cowabunga collection, which is very awesome. They also work on Shovel Knight too, by the way.
Interesting.
Wondering.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I played Shovel Knight with the Super Nintendo controller, and it was awesome. Matt, what about you?
So, I mean, there are a lot of answers to this. Obviously, Chrono Trigger, though I haven't played it as much recently. But the one game that I managed to play almost every single year is Kirby's Dream Land on the Game Boy. I love Kirby. It's one of my favorite franchises. And the original Kirby's Dream Land on Game Boy is about 45 minutes from toe to tip. If you're really bad at it, maybe an hour. And then it unlocks a hard mode that you can play through that usually only takes about an hour and a half. I love it. And I always try and get a sitting in with it. If I'm ever bored, every emulator I have on any device can play that game. I have it. It's obviously on Switch Online. I have it on my Steam Deck through totally legal means. I love this game. There are other games that I replay often, but this one is the one that I definitely replayed the most my entire life because it's just such a quick replay and it's such a satisfying game to play because it's bare bones basics. I love it's not my favorite Kirby game. My favorite Kirby game is the Game Boy Advance remake of Kirby's Adventure, Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland, because that takes a really good game and makes it perfect. But Kirby's Dream Land is like a perfect experience because it's just boiled down basics. This is what Kirby is. Move through, have a good time.
It's crazy how the very first Kirby game is not the Kirby that we remember. Like Kirby didn't even have the ability to take abilities.
Yep.
He just swallowed bricks and bad guys and spit them out. That was his only thing.
A Satoru Iwata game.
Yep. Yeah. that was yep. And yeah, I love this game. I try and go out of my way to play it every year. Like if I'm stressed, I'll boot it up even if I won't finish it. Like I'll just play a few levels, kind of in the same way, Corey, that you would play Tetris and just kind of pick it up and put it down. Like it's just because there's no story. I mean, there is, but there isn't. And so like you can just kind of just muck around with it every time.
Yeah.
King Dedede stole all the food, and it's up to Kirby to save, Dreamland by getting the food back.
Can we talk how cool King Dedede is for 5 seconds?
Oh, he's the best Smash character. I will own for King Dedede.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. So my nephews, side tangent, my nephews come over when they want to play Smash every time they come over, and they swear they can beat me at Smash. And it's me against them, and I give them one computer player.
Yeah.
And I'm King Dedede, and I kill them every time. And it's hilarious.
Amazing.
I mean, they're 9 and 11, so whatever.
Picking on little kids, but that's okay.
Yeah,
it's funny.
Yeah,
you gotta get your victory somehow.
Look,
exactly.
If they say how sweaty they are and what the Sigma one more time, they're gonna get more than a King Dedede. Bang, okay,
legit.
Oh man, Pat, LeRon, you guys have like the same game almost, sort of.
Oh. Mine goes back to the original Mega Man. Just because I enjoy just running through Mega Man 1 through... It's usually 1 through 10, but occasionally I'll throw 11 in there too. But I enjoy just going through and replaying the series again. Even Mega Man 1, which is not my favorite, but I will still do it for the sake of the series.
It's on the list. You've got that one specific though.
Yeah, because that's the oldest. The question was, what is the oldest game you would regularly visit?
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. And Zelda also would fit on the exact same timeline because they both came out in 1987. And I do, usually I go through one of the old Zeldas once a year or some Zelda game. And I've gone through that one plenty of times, countless of times. So
nice.
I would still consider it replayable.
Nice. LeRon, what about you?
I've got both Mega Man 2 and 3 on there because those are ones I actually go back to frequently. I can't remember what episode of the Boss Rush podcast we talked about palate cleanser games and stuff like that. And usually like when I just want to recharge, for gaming, like Mega Man 2 or 3 is one of the games I go back to. Also like the Ghouls and Ghosts on the Sega Genesis, because people shit on the Sega Genesis all the time, but the Sega Genesis at the time was cranking out arcade perfect games. And Capcom was like a champion of some of the most arcade perfect games on the Genesis at that time and stuff like that. And definitely Ghouls and Ghosts is one of them. Street Fighter 2 Turbo was another, but that's not part of my list. I just shouted it out. But Ghouls and Ghosts, like I played Ghouls and Ghosts on the Genesis so much that whenever I see a Ghouls and Ghosts arcade anywhere out in public, like I can usually beat that game in 2 quarters, and everyone knows like them Ghosts and Goblin games are not easy.
I will fight anybody who doesn't like the Genesis. It's one of my favorite consoles. We did a retrospective on it. I still like I was shouting out to the rooftops, Rocket Knight Adventures. Yes. Not enough people play that game.
Oh yeah.
And it's one of the best action platformers. I just got the collection from Limited Run. Yeah, I'll fight people in a Denny's parking lot over the Genesis.
Yeah, I'll fight.
So I love Rocket Knight Adventures. I had no idea that there were more than one until that collection was
that's announced. Because Rocket Knight Adventures 2 and then the Super Nintendo Sparkster are not very good comparatively. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that first game, it slaps.
I still have my original Rocket Knight Adventures complete inbox in a box back there.
Oh, jealous.
I have like 10 Genesis games, all kind of complete inbox sitting back there, and one of them is Rocket Knight Adventures because I love that game so much.
So good.
So I saw you tweet about the collection, and after Limited Run announced it, I'm like, I had no idea anybody else even knew about Rocket Knight Adventures.
I feel the same. I often feel like I'm speaking into a void. But yeah, I mean, even if you didn't get the Limited Run version, it's on the collection's on Steam, the collection's on Switch. It's totally worth it just to experience those other games. They're not as good, but they're still fun games.
Yeah, I would still get it for the first game. So, next question. Everybody went, right?
You know what? I'd like to revise my answer because there's a game that's even older that I play pretty frequently. The original Donkey Kong.
Ooh, yeah.
Good choice.
That's a great choice.
Yeah.
Yep. 86 for the NES. Technically, though, it was 81 for the arcade. But I will go with 86.
Even though
the arcade.
Even though I like playing Donkey Kong for the NES, like it just was not the arcade one. It just didn't have the same feel.
Never is.
Yeah. I mean, it was missing a level, but
also
that's one. That's one.
Also, you talk about games like Double Dragon. Jeez, get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, what's that Bart Simpson meme? At least you tried, and he throws the cake in the trash. Oh God, the Nintendo fans are gonna be after me now.
It's fine. Still saying Shane via Discord writes in, what third party or indie developer would be a perfect match if they were to be acquired by Nintendo? What first party game would they excel at making for Nintendo if they allowed them to make a game? So my first thought was Mercury Steam for Metroid. I mean, they've nailed it the last 2 games they made.
Yeah, why haven't they snapped those guys up yet?
Because Nintendo doesn't like to buy companies. Why buy the cow when you're getting the milk for free, LeRon?
Also, as we've seen through the brilliance of Xbox, acquiring companies always works out well for both the companies and the acquirer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hi-Fi Rush was great.
I mean, I think ethos-wise, for me, it's got to be Yacht Club. I think that, like, those games aren't just Nintendo games, but I think of Shovel Knight and I think of the Switch. I think of the 3DS. Like, I can picture it. And like even the new game, Mina the Hollower, which I'm so excited for, basically looks like Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, but it's a Castlevania game. What first party game would they make though? I don't know. I'd probably see them make a Mario game or a Zelda game. I think they could probably do either of those pretty well.
Bring back 2D Zelda, but
like side-scrolling Link's Adventure style.
What if they made the third Oracle game that never came out?
Right.
Oh man, Yacht Club though, man. The Shovel Knight for Wii U. Rip. Never got the DLC.
Nope.
Oh.
All right. I'm gonna go with Way Forward, and I'm gonna give them Starfy.
Ooh, Starfy, yeah.
I will have them bring Starfy back.
Yeah, they're another one that like I love the Shantae series. I have the Reebok. I have backed the limited run cartridge of Shantae Advance that's coming soon. Like I love that series, and those are like the same. Like Shantae was Game Boy Color originally. Like I see that as a Nintendo series also, so I can totally see them being a part of the Nintendo ecosystem.
I'm so glad they're bringing that advanced game out. It looks so good. It's the best looking one. Because as much as I love Shantae, when they moved away from the pixel art style, it lost something. Not that those games aren't great, but like it just lost that.
Well, yeah, but Half Genie Hero and Seven Sirens are not the best games. I like them, but like Pirate's Curse is almost undefeated. I got the 3DS copy of that. I'm so excited. Like when they did that reprint also, I made sure to snap that up. But yeah, no, I agree. I think the pixel art versions of Shantae, especially the middle 2 games, are their best, and the Game Boy Advance one's going to be right in that sweet spot.
Yeah. Something about Game Boy Advance.
It's the best video game console ever made. I will die on that hill.
Are you an SP person or are you the horizontal one?
I mean, I like them both, but the SP's got the actual backlight, so you can see what the F you're doing.
Exactly.
I'm an analog pocket person, and I'm just going to play my Game Boy Advance games on that because that screen is fucking gorgeous.
Okay, fair. LeRon, you have any opinion on this question?
Y'all know indies are my blind spot, so I'm going to recuse myself from this one.
It says third party. What if Nintendo bought Capcom to make a...
Capcom has said for like quite a few years now they're not for sale.
I know. it was kind of a joke.
Besides, I don't want Capcom to be stuck with making like inferior Monster Hunter games. I am so sorry for anybody I have insulted, because yes, I played every Monster Hunter game that's come out. So I was there for the DS and the 3DS games. I was there for the Wii game, which that game
it's your favorite, I heard.
Me off. Yeah, it pisses me off to all ends, stuff like that.
Did you play the Wii U version with the 3DS as your controller? That's the real question.
I didn't play the Wii U version because I just played the 3DS version of that game, because like both games were compatible with each other and stuff like that. So I was like, there's no way I'm buying a Wii U after I basically like had to kick myself in the ass for buying a Wii for a Monster Hunter game. There was no way I was going to buy a Wii U.
Can I tell you the early episodes of Nintendo Power Block? Ed and I had this whole conversation / angry yell-a-thon of him using the 3DS for both Smash Brothers and Monster Hunter while he played it on the Wii U, because you can use them as controllers.
Why?
Sorry, Ed.
Are you
moving on?
I'd rather you buy 5,000 different hookups.
Ice skating uphill.
I'd rather you buy 5,000 hookups to play with a GameCube controller than Darkling 12 via X/Twitter. What are your most anticipated games for the rest of the year? Matt, I'm going to go your way first because I like your list.
Thanks. Obviously, I said before, Dragon Age: The Veilguard is a big one for me. I'm excited to get a new BioWare game, and pretty much everything Nintendo's got coming. But specifically for me, the new Legend of the Zelda, where you finally get to play as Zelda. Also, I love the Link's Awakening remake. I didn't play the original Link's Awakening on Game Boy. I never got around to it. I will at some point, but I loved that remake. I loved the kind of claymation art style, and I was like, this is a one-off. I'm going to be so sad because it's so beautiful. It looked like playing with little toys. So the fact that this new Zelda game, a brand new game, not a remake, is getting that art style makes me really optimistic that we'll continue to get top-down Zeldas, because I didn't think we would. I like Tears of the Kingdom a lot, but like I love 2D Zeldas, top-down Zeldas, and so I'm glad we're getting another one. And then full stop, the Mario and Luigi games are some of my favorite games of all time. And when Alpha Dream died, I was so sad because I loved those games. Even Paper Jam, which wasn't perfect, like I really liked those games. When Alpha Dream got shut down, I was like, well, we're never going to see another Mario and Luigi game. That's it. My favorite RPG franchise is gone. And then they announced Brothership in the recent direct, and I damn near lost my mind. Like I'm so excited for Brothership. If the writing is even half as good as those old games were, it's going to be a blast. Curious to see how the new voice actors handle the Italian gibberish, because Charles Martinet was just so iconic with the way he made the Mario Brothers talk in that game, those games. But I'm so excited for that. And then I love Alan Wake 2. I'm a Remedy sicko. I love Control. I love the first Alan Wake, and I played the first DLC just a month ago, and I'm excited for the new DLC, The Lake House, which is like more story stuff. It's supposed to expand the story and the narrative of the game. And then last is Astrobot. I loved basically that tech demo that came with the PS5. To this day, I think it's my favorite PS5 game, and there are a lot of great games on PS5. But like, I never thought we'd see a full Mario style, like Astrobot full-fledged game. And the fact that we're getting one is so hype. Like, it's the only thing I'm looking forward to on PlayStation right now. Although, I mean, I play Alan Wake, the only like true PlayStation franchise I'm looking forward to, because when I played that 5-hour tech demo, I was like, this should be their Mario. This is so obvious. Like, it's such a good game, and celebrating Sony's history. Folks love nostalgia, and I love the Sony platform, and so to celebrate that with this cute little character, like, chef's kiss. So yeah, those are the ones that I'm most excited for. There are probably a few others, but those are like the big ones.
Pat?
Yep. My list borrows from a lot of other people's lists. Honestly, I'm excited for a hell of a lot of stuff. I mean, so my list isn't like the definitive, but I will say I am highly looking forward to Metaphora ReFantazio. I love Team Zero. They put out some amazing stuff. Seeing what they can do with a non-Persona IP is going to be pretty exciting, and I've been hearing some pretty good things about the game. So that's coming out soon. With Matt, I am also super stoked for Astrobot. Like, I love my 3D platformers, and Astrobot was like one of the most amazing 3D platformers of like this generation. Like, it was pure brilliance. A lot of good callbacks to just the history of PlayStation, the various characters that are both PlayStation and third-party IPs. Like, were all like just little snippets here and there, and it's gonna be cool to see what they do with the full-fledged game. Like, it's a no-brainer. Astrobot should be PlayStation's mascot.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And that controller that's coming out, oh my gosh, I want it so bad.
I love that controller.
I love everything about the controller except for the eyeballs on the I feel like that wasn't necessary, but you know, I get it. It's the novelty of it.
You don't like it watching you while you play, LeRon?
LeRon, then you just like poke it in the eyeball, like every time you need to push start.
Just cover its eyes. It'll be fine.
Besides, I think the next and final controller I'm going to buy for PS5 is that Pro controller, the actual Sony one,
The Edge one.
Yeah, the Edge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all I'm ever gonna do is play it like directly hook you to a USB to my computer. You know, so it's not like I'm ever gonna have to worry about the battery.
Fair. Shout out to the Concord controller though. I don't know if the game's going to do
pretty
well
good
or not.
It kind of reminds me of the Starfield controller for the Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Going back to my games, Assassin's Creed Shadow. Love the Assassin's Creed series. I'm excited to see what they do with Japan.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how that story turns out.
And then finally, the Assassin's Creed Investigation Collection. I am super excited that
Creed Investigation Collection?
Ace Attorney, sorry. The Ace Attorney, I three of my games began with A. The Ace Attorney Investigation Collection. Miles Edgeworth is by far my second favorite Ace Attorney character. My first favorite is Gumshoe, who is also a character in these games. So it's got two of my favorite Ace Attorney characters, and we never got the second one ever in America unless you got a fan translated, emulated version. So I'm excited to actually get the complete collection now. All the Ace Attorney games belong to us. And on your system of choice.
Nice. LeRon, what are you excited for?
Yeah, a few of mine are definitely going to be repeats. For sure, Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm always going to be a fan of that franchise as long as Nintendo keeps doing it right and stuff like that. Like in my opinion, like that to me that is the evolution of Super Mario. To me, you know, I know a lot of people say the evolution of Super Mario is what went on starting from Super Mario 64 and beyond, you know, stuff like that. But I feel like Mario and Luigi Brothership, like, you know, especially if you have like any type of love for Super Mario RPG, as well as what the original Paper Mario was, you know, stuff like that. Like the Mario and Luigi series is obviously where you go. You know, beyond that, Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, of course, because like I'm also a fan of top-down Zelda games. As a matter of fact, I feel like that's where it should have stayed. You know, but we can fight about that another time. God of War Ragnarok for the PC, yes, very much yes. And I'm also with Pat with Metaphor Refantasio, and with you, Matt with Matt with you with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Yeah,
yes,
that's my honorable mention. But if I could, crap, it was in my mind and I forgot it. I was thinking about it and I should jotted it down as I was talking. Crap, there was one other game that just kind of like jumped into my head.
Lollipop Chainsaw Repop.
Oh, that's on my Metacritic draft. I can't wait to see how that one plays out.
I'm on the DL.
Shadows of the Dan Reboned.
I'm excited for all these like weird remakes that are coming out.
Coming out. Shadows of the Dam was a blast, and it's a shame that it wasn't available anywhere. So I'm excited for that one to come back.
I have no plans on replaying that. I enjoyed it the first time around, though. I have no plans on getting it and replaying it, though.
What was the other one that was in that kind of space? It was Lollipop Chainsaw, Shadows of the Damned. What was the other one? There was
the Suda 51 stuff.
Maybe.
No, I think it was just those two.
Was it?
There's like rumors of a Killer 7 remake,
right?
But I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. Okay. I thought there was one other kind of like in that AA kind of 360 space, but
thinking Deadly Premonition.
No, I don't know.
Sweary.
I'm too tired to figure it out. So mine are pretty much doubling up on a lot of others. Zelda, Assassin's Creed, Mario and Luigi. I can't wait. But Star Wars Outlaws, I'm really excited for because
I keep forgetting that comes out this month. It looks really good, and like I like a Star Wars. I don't get me wrong, I love the Calcasta stories. I think both those games are actually very good. Some of my favorite Star Wars games, but I'm excited to see what they do with Star Wars without a Jedi. I mean, I'm sure there'll be Jedis in it, but like, I love Shadows of the Empire on the N64. Like, I like those stories. I love KOTOR because, at least in the very beginning, you don't know you're a Jedi. Spoiler alert, I guess.
Dark Forces 1.
Dark Forces, yeah. Like, I like those games that steer away from the Jedi just because I feel like those narratives are interesting. It's why I like even the one that just got a remaster from
Bounty Hunter.
Bounty Hunter, which, you know, not a great game, but still fun. Like, I love when they go in that direction, and so I'm eager for Outlaws because I think it could be a fun addition to the universe.
Yeah. Plus, I'm interested to see how they utilize all this different tech from other games because it has. I mean, it's massive, so it's going to have. It's going to probably feel like the Division in terms of shooting and the way the world feels. It has. You can fly from planet to planet, so it has that weird Starlink feel.
Yeah.
Anybody out there the 12 people who played Starlink and, you know,
I bought it just for the Star Fox stuff on Switch and never finished it.
I played the Star Fox stuff and I was like, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. It's the best Star Fox game we've gotten since N64, though. I'll throw that out there.
That's true. Yeah, that's sad, but it's true. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think like I like and Outlaws it's Ubisoft, right?
Yep.
Yeah, like Ubisoft has been hit or miss for me. I don't love the Assassin's Creed games anymore just because they're too big. Like I since 3, I just haven't been able to get into them. But like a Star Wars game with that kind of open world design, I'm excited to see what that's like. So
yeah, and I think the character is interesting. I think she.
I mean, she's got a cute pet. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Any look, you throw a game in there with a protagonist and a cute pet. I mean, look at BD1.
Oh, BD1, the best droid ever.
I'm just throwing it out there. By the way, shout out to Disneyland and Disney World. Have BD1 walking around the park now.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I was excited when you saw the BD1 in I think it was first Book of Boba Fett, and then they brought him back for the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Kind of wandering around the docks, and it's like, is that Cal Kestis' BD1? Is Cal Kestis in this one?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to buy these Ubisoft games right away because they'll be on sale in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically.
But that's it. We did it. We did it, everyone. Matt, thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast. It's great chatting with y'all. I love the show, and I'm happy to be a part of it anytime you want. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
We enjoyed having you. Where can we find you? Where can we find your stuff? And yeah.
The best place to go is djstormageddon.com. That has links to all my podcasts. It has links to my merch store. It has links to the Patreon page for fun and games. If you want to find me online, I'm in most places at DJ_Stormageddon. That's Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Not Blue Sky, though. Blue Sky won't let you use underscores, so I'm only DJ Stormageddon there. So the brand is ruined. And then, I think that's kind of really it. I would love for you to check out my podcasts, even if it's just a subscribe and a check out. You know, you want to support financially also. Go check it out. Say hi to me online.
Yeah, definitely check it out. So 2 things. We do have the 2 side quests episodes on our website that are native to your players. So go check those out. I did one, Ed did one. And then there are links to the show proper in those episodes as well. Plus, there will be links in the show notes.
Thank you.
Check out DJ Stormageddon. Matt, thank you again for your time. Pat, LeRon, thank you for your time as well. I already know where to find you. We don't care. I'm just kidding. I love you both. And I love
at this point, if no one knows how to reach out and touch me on the internet, like,
whoa,
y'all just sad.
Who's touching who now? Anyways, everybody out there, thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. LeRon, you have to hit stop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.